Hey, thanks for finding me here. I'm Jason Hewlett, Keynote Hall of Fame speaker, and hey, this is where I'm going to teach you how to prepare note cards for your speech. Now, there's a myth out there, and people say, hey, you shouldn't have notes on stage or note cards. That's a lie. Everybody uses notes in their own way, and so I'm going to show you some of the best way to prepare those notes for yourself. And so by the end of this video, you'll be able to have the greatest note cards you've ever had, and at the same time, I'll show you how you can replace them by the end of the video. So let's dive in. So number one, let me just talk about that myth of people saying you can't have notes on stage or note cards in your hand when you speak. That is an absolute lie. I don't know why people think that, because when you think about some of the greatest speakers you've ever seen, a majority of them do have notes, whether they're reading off a teleprompter, which is lucky for them, or they might have a stage monitor down here. Then there are the notes that people use all the time. They could be little index cards or just a piece of paper. Maybe it's an iPad. For example, I have an iPad here today. That's an important thing for me to have the notes. And so preparing those notes, award winners, presidential candidates, you name it, everybody uses notes. It's okay for you too. So get that out of your mind, that you can't use notes. You can. Number two, I'd like for you to buy some index cards and some colorful markers. You could buy, I like to buy the black, blue, and red. And here's why. I'll do different colors for different things I'm doing. For example, black might be the headline that I'm going to talk about. Blue might be my point, and red will be the story or the music I'm going to do. That makes sense? I mean, it helps me a lot. The other thing is you need to realize you don't want to write on the back side of the card. Otherwise, the audience will see it. So you just got to give each card its moment. But make sure that you have those different colors. Use index cards. That's fine. It's actually better than having a huge piece of paper. And actually, iPads and other types of tablets are fine to have on stage. So you choose what you want to do, but make sure that it's big enough and legible. So number three in preparing your note cards is you want to reference your outline for your speech. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't even have an outline for my speech, well, then you need to go check out another video I've already made about how to prepare an effective outline for your speech. Now, here's the thing about an outline. I'll just give you the brief overview of that video, is that you need to create one without winging your speech. As you sit down to prepare your note cards, it is so helpful to have that outline sitting there so you can say, oh yeah, this is what I need to have jog my memory. That will guide the note taking and note creating of your speech. So number four, you want to choose the words and the points that will get you speaking. And so, for example, if you write too many things, then you're gonna not even be able to read it or remember it. You wanna be able to just glance down and look real quickly at something so you can look back up at the audience. The audience is watching your eyes all of the time. Do you notice that when I look down, we're disconnecting, and when I look up, we're reconnecting? Yeah, you see that? So as a note reader on stage, you need to just put your point that you want to say, or just the first few lines of a quote. So if you're going to be giving the I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther King, and you need to remember something, you could either write dream, or you could write I have a, oh yeah, and then you're off to the races. The other thing is, as soon as you're off to the races, that's always wonderful, but you can't get there unless you've given yourself a good takeoff point. And so you don't want to write every single word. Sometimes I've seen on people's notes, and I'm not messing around here, I've seen a big headline in pencil or little pen, they wrote every single line underneath. That's not good. All you need to do is have a couple extra pages of outline for that. But with your notes, you just want to have something in big and bold that you can look down and say, oh yeah, here we go. So number five, before you write all this out, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stand up in front of a wall or a window and try to give parts of your speech. Glance down and see how much you really need, because you may have written too many words on your note cards to begin with. And now as you're giving that, you're starting to ingrain it in yourself by repetition and practice. So you could actually be giving the speech to the wall. And I know that sounds weird. People say, give it in the mirror. I say, if you really want to not get through a speech, talk into a mirror. I say, look at a wall or a window. The reason is just because then you won't get distracted by how you look or what you sound like, etc. So just look at the wall, look at your notes, look down, and then you'll realize, oh, I don't need that many words on there. And that will really speed up the process of creating great notes. So number 6, if successful, you got to keep going with this practice of looking at the wall or looking at the mirror. So you look down and you check and see how good you're doing. Now, you can actually at this point say to yourself, I need more or I need less. Very simple. Or I need different words altogether. That's happened to me quite a bit. Now, before I go into the rest of these points that are going to help you with preparing and using your notes on stage, I hope that you'll put in the comments what has been helpful so far. And hey, if you even have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I always respond to every comment on this video. So let's keep going. Number 7, write the following: trigger words. What are the trigger words that you need to jog your memory? Oftentimes it may just be one word like dream or inspire. Other times it may be a percentage that you're going to share a point from the Harvard Business Review or something. And so when you have a trigger, something that gives you an opportunity to launch into that, that's what you want on your note cards more than anything else. And number 8, I've already mentioned this a little bit, but give each card its moment. I mean, don't pack so much onto one card. You could have like 50 cards if you want, it doesn't matter. Give each card its moment. Commit to it what you're going to say on that one card, and even just 1 or 2 words, that can be very effective. Number 9, a lot of people forget to do this, and it's really tragic because then they drop their cards. Number them up in the corner. Number them real small because you may have to adjust them and then change that a little bit. But I have done speeches where I forgot to number my notes, and oh my gosh, when it fell, it's everywhere. You know, musicians have music notes. They have numbers on those as well. It helps to know where you're headed. If you drop the paper, make sure to number it. And number 10, I'm going to give you some interesting expert advice that a lot of people probably haven't shared with you. You know, most people say don't use note cards and don't prepare that type of thing. Well, here's what I want you to realize: that you can actually call out the elephant in the room. That's okay. For you to stand up there and say, hey, you know what? I just prepared this speech. I am embarrassed to say that I need these notes. And everyone will laugh because they're glad they're not speaking, first of all. They're also like, hey, I would need notes as well. And so it's okay to call it out and just say, hey, I just prepared this. I don't want to forget what I've written for you. Please don't mind my notes. Then look down and read them. That actually breaks the fourth wall between you and the audience, and they'll be way more encouraging, and they'll be like, oh, we appreciate that they want to give us the best material possible. And as a bonus, I told you that I would give you a very cool trick that I have used to make it so I don't necessarily need the notes on stage for a majority of my talks anymore. Here's what I've done. I've actually created my PowerPoint slides around what needs to jog my memory. For example, if a picture pops up of my family, I now know what to talk about. If a slide pops up that says ICM, identify, clarify, magnify, now I remember where I'm headed. This is all very effective for yourself, whether it's in the outline of the speech or the creation of the notes, but you can get rid of a lot of things by building it into your PowerPoint presentation. So if you are brand new to speaking and you're like, I just need to get a speech out, I just need my notes, that's totally cool. I hope I've given you permission here to realize you can use notes, and you should. You can use them effectively, look down and up and down. But the high-level speakers, their notes are their PowerPoint slides. I hope that this presentation is giving you some ideas and some ways that you can actually prepare your notes even better. Hey, thank you so much for joining me here. I hope that you'll subscribe. See you next time.